You are here at the Shemai and then so Yamama Kwaba, Ediba AKTV Weekend News Review in a can. That's a Cassiana, Chabun Ocean Nano. Memenda no Cosida, Yasheda, Ebosuma, Woody, a Corso, Ewo, Amanyo Semu, Ecosi, Abucansi so. And Tianasu Yashiano, the Corso Ocho Chamuno, and no, and I ever bob so at Trewono. Now I know, and I actually said AKTV Weekend News Review in a can. Na ansana yabesha asiano asedaka sepa enkoma New Fountain of Life Ministries International na ni nyina ne se odofo abrabomu hawo bia da so no se eye hunhumu se eye hunamani metre hunamani yade ne hunhumu yade ade bia wonti ase afa hunhumu nsem ho no se obegba pini New Fountain of Life Ministries International na woni Apostle Matthew Dr. Anchi enkochia na woni ni sia ena obetwetumi a edu hawo na chi no afa obi mu na onia no setumi ni ba na wa setumi no ama ade bi ode aye wo no se afa osika sem wa ware sem ho ade bi afa hu sem a eye age wo tun ya fu sem no na wa hye na ma na yiwa ade afim so owi a na wa panne se no apam no adi afiri wa brabom na me kan sa no na ntaso nko anante enya Apostle Matthew Dr. Anchi pe na oba beto no na one no hokafo ayodi focus pa Mama Lydia Anchi me dey my friend say ya penso Deborah na oba tumi bi a house obia no se dey tie bia ya betwe no ama na yimi ni body afiru so ama won so wafa ho adi na me ka wo say dwumadie yi me a medi ho chiame no ya fra me Collins Ataba ubetimi afra me wofata na mfantefo no de o twalitia e kan say Uncle Ata Omayenko na enkofa asafuya wo bodwumadi hu kai won krato emra.
Hear our prayer. We are your children and we've gathered here today. We've gathered
the whole Ghana onyame inshiramo me wo ho ana school bia omo Ukraine omo say ye bebo me professor nanuti no na wo se me bosom pae na me pae bomu no nyame yi kire me se Ghana nyina abambofo nyina mo Ghana emu 10% aban agimutu ajakofa ba me trase mummra mombo afode kakra mwa nyame asafo na baabi a momma no biara menyima de mamo baabi a momma no biara menyima de mamo we anya tro moa monhwe mo ho onyame kire me se abambofo mo Ghana 10%.
God has revealed to me that the security men in the country, out of the whole number, 10% have got problems with impotency. And therefore, this is opportunity time for you. I will sit down, just come to me, offer something to the Lord, and by the grace of God, that impotency will go away.
Yo, adofo, ya san ye chi abadia na ene yen hyase enfam free amanyosemu na wotu etwami amanyosemu mu amunim se yen papa Dr. Kwame Nkrumah omampani odikan wo Ghana ha sei onyame nam ne so age independence ede ma oman na omampani onye ne ba bi kro Ivan Satamos o se 21st September bia no yen fanya kaidum a papa ye didi ni birthday na eye holiday so ema oman Ghana na wo holiday ni mu no CPP4 eye odo adidie afa wo yi won chairperson wo yi foforo e kire na yenko tie yen papa Ivor Kwabena Green Street ene ya nana akosua frempoma ye wo kan ye e wo bra na ye di ye papa awodai.
The agenda of your own nation. Decide to create opportunity for your own people. Decide to earn more from your resources from your own people. Then you become a threat. You become a threat to international capital. You become a threat to their profit, and you become a threat to their agenda. And God being so good, He has placed 2 women at the helm of affairs of CPP. They were not appointed. The largest opposition party want to make a lot of noise about appointing a female as a vice presidential running mate. In the Convention People's Party, the women fight for their position. They enter elections. They compete against the men. And here we have a chairman and leader, highly resourceful, highly intelligent, highly creative, highly innovative, who will bring a new energy and dynamism to the party.
We are not going to abandon any project as our projects have been abandoned to rot in the bushes. We won't do that. What we will do is that anything that is good for this country, anything that we know that would help build the youth, will develop the youth of this country, create employment, will be able to give them housing, proper housing, be able to have the projects that can make the farmer be able to sell his goods. We don't believe that farmers should farm and also have to become marketeers. They don't own the road, they don't own transportation, they don't own nothing. So if they spend their time to produce for us, we the Ghanaians must spend our time. If the produce is going to rot, let it rot in the hands of government. It should never rot in the hands of the farmer. And that is one of the things that we did in the First Republic, and we will do.
Na me no ka say Prophet Kofi Oduo so waka say yisi for voters ID card na why no eye fon pa eye fon ono fani sika kura enye ade etesa na de ntie papa ka ne say no yenko na yenko tie bra
hwe electoral commission card ya wo mo ye mai aye de be koto about on the 70. You call this a card? Are you serious? I mean, seriously, tell us how much one card cost, and let's multiply by all the people who registered. Now you check it from Sikano ayede card. No one say, "Oh my way, no Ukrainian." I'm telling you, card the full way a card. Card the full way a card. Now kamuma ye bibi tisa Ghana card na kure. Your church as a church, your membership card no, it's a plastic card. I can find rubber we have a beginning penny so your paper no cry a paper no check card in me me call voters to register. Almost we just back catch and say, you know, Prophet to Drew. Yenya ni di ni mano. And yes sir what the ever call. Yeah, me enya ni de ni nti me card no me show me card ni ma etese NI Ghana card no na me yire card no etese ulunka roba
sanso ena Madam Jane Mensa also odi ato Ghana fo anim na otwetwa mu yi efa exhibition exercise no say di ntwa etwure yi ebekwa akwa ye din say din no aye twere no papa ananye papa so yo oba e de bema din na ma wo ana say bema ye de oba efoni na asihu ama wo no ye maame Jemensa na otwa etwa mu yi odba beto Ghana fo nyina anim say exhibition exercise no ye ba be hyaase na ye go hwese de ye maame esi kire ni sembu efa
The Commission is desirous and ensuring the safety and security of its stakeholders. As a result, we have recruited one COVID-19 ambassador to each of the 33,367 exhibition centers, and they have been tasked to enforce the COVID-19 protocols put in place by the Commission. These are officials who would be at the exhibition centers to ensure that the COVID protocols and the safety protocols put in place by the Commission are adhered to and observed. And so it's part of our budget, and the cost will be borne out of our budget.
Now when I say Nunkatia and this for what na exhibition exercise na ekoso no enyema bi ekoso a enyenyenyenyenye na Ghana ha de ono efiso wura manyosemu ohu bi da yenkohwe de and this for hu ama general mosquito or general secretary no all can say
ya wan hihye a ekire wo mo ya king makers wo mo a etimi sire mane yeye wo mo a etimi tu ohere e mane yeye wo mo di nyina ane ekire ɛto nwoma bi mu a yɛfrɛ no voters register no ɛno nti sɛ voters register yɛtwerɛ a yɛgyina mmara so ɛkyerɛ sɛ wɔn mu timi ɛto aba no bi ne ADC president no wɔn mu nie sɛ obi nka ho ne yɛde ne din ka ho a ɛkyɛ sɛ akonnwasie no mfomso aba ho ɔhene a wobɛsi no ɔnyɛ hene papa register no a na ɛda hɔ a yɛde ato aba ɛde ato aba no electoral commission wei ne aban wei aba sɛ saa register no nyɛ yɛne mo bɛdi ho nkita ho ɛma ɔmo kaa sɛ yɛkɔtɔ mfidi papa bi de aba ne abɛyɛ register no korɔgye ɛno ɛne atrɛ register no na ɛberɛ a ɛsɛ sɛ ɔmo de ma na Ghanafoɔ a yɛabɛtwerɛ yɛ din no obiara bɛkɔ akɔhwɛ sɛ ne din wɔ mu anaasɛ ne din nim na sɛ obi wɔ hɔ a edin foforɔ bi abɛfra mu a parties nyinaa ebedi ho adanse ahunu sɛ edin wei ɛnsɛ sɛ ebam yɛnyi mfiri mu edin bi a ɛnsɛ sɛ ɛwɔ mu a ama mu nso na yɛde abɛkyerɛ ɛnora election directorate ɛyɛ press conference ɛwɔ nkran ɛnsɛm a abɛpie mu ne sɛ deɛ di kan yɛkɔ akɔkye electoral commission fo a wɔn mo hyɛ kukuwa mu printing voter ID cards ɛho video wɔ hɔ mewie a mɛsɛnde ama mo feele a wɔn mo printing voter ID cards ebi nsi ɔman mu baabiara da wɔn mo mmɔ party bi ebi wɔ hɔ a ɔbaa photo ɛtare hɔ na bɛrima din ɛna ɛwɔ aseɛ ɛno nti ɛna wɔn mo hunu sɛ ɛsɛ sɛ wɔn mo sesa voter ID cards no ɛna wɔn mo abobɔ district bebrebe wɔ Ghana ha sɛ ɛhɔ na saa asɛm no asisie na me nuanom obi a me ma kɔtwerɛ me din mo si afidie no yɛ papa yɛama me kaade ama kɔ fie sɛ mfomsoɔ bi aba sɛ me na wobɛfrɛ me sɛ memfa me kaade no mmra na sɛ
na wɔbrɛ a general secretary ɛkasa wieɛ no ɛbɛsafi yankra ɛyɛ national electoral directors yɛ wɔwɔ NDC mu no ɔno nso ɔdena no sɛm ɛtu dwa fa saa asɛm kora wia ho
bi ne sɛ nipa dodoɔ naa no yɛyi ɔmo din afiri ɛyi register nim a mama mo ɛho nsusuaso yɛ nua bɛrima wɔ ha ɛna afei yɛ nua bɛrima bid ɔno nso ɛkyerɛ sɛ nipa over bɛɛ 109 a yɛyi ɔmo dodoɔ na din ne firi mu no na nipa bɛɛ nson pɛ dunson ɛna aka nipa over 400 no nipa dunson pɛ ɛna aka wɔ register no so a saa de wei ɛwɔ mmeammea bebree baabi nso wɔ hɔ a personal identification number na ɛyɛ pin no na ebi yɛ nipa baako na ɔno ne pin no ne yɛde ama nipa bebrebe
na owie no anso hɔ ɛma ɛyɛ chairman Samuel Ofosuampofo enso ɛdo na no nsɛm ɛka nsɛm yi ho bi
which polling stations they should send their biometric verification device and which station they shouldn't send. I went today and there was no biometric verification device in my registration center. So I asked, how do I know that on election day when I come, my fingers will conform to the system that you have put in place? It means that if this is not done nationwide in all registration centers, a lot of people will go on election day and their system on their fingers cannot be verified.
Na ne kwa no ɛyɛ mampani dada John Dramani ɔkyerɛ na deɛ asi ɛwɔ exhibition no mu ɛne deɛ ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ voters register no mu anhwɛ yi a afi 2020 aba ɛbɛtoɔ no nsunsuanso ɛbɛfiri mu aba no saa NDC di ntwo paa deɛ a wɔnyi ntu
to usurp the people's mandate in the December 7 poll.
Sabre yemongura mu na yɛhwɛ deɛ ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ empatamu a me no nkasa yi ɔmampani akyerɛ sɛ nhyehyɛe a wɔ hɔ ɛwɔ COVID-19 no coronavirus na ɛbaeɛ no a yes say nipa etun ko sie funu no eye nipa kakra bi ene ehon hyehyeye no aban a kyerɛkyerɛ mu wo bra aban no ɔne yɛn kasa wo bra etoso dunso kwose da etwa mu yi na ɔkyerɛ yɛn sɛ no nipa dodo a wahyɛ sɛ wɔn na ko sie funu ene eye ho hyehyeye no ɛda so ti bi hɔ a wonyi ɛfam fi hɔ.
Private burials, still with a maximum of 100 persons, can continue to be performed. Our borders by land and sea will remain closed to human traffic until further notice. Beaches, pubs, cinemas, and nightclubs remain closed until further notice.
Now, we know because our Blue East, yedi kwan so police for ne armed robbers e dey akwa sie ni ma me no kasa tututu omu no armed robbers no miensa de enya omo ho adwane ye na ba ku de obodutuo ekum no se de awefo ani etue yi na police for kira na miensa no a adwane ye no okura wo susu se emo ba aka won enti wa wote yedi epotamu ho ene bra ha epotamu ho no won fa wani ento fom na wo ku obi a anankrofo bi a wa pira a wo pemo a what you will say, Ebiana, Akrofuya. IGP, I didn't know what we I don't want to change. I break for no, not for a more temper, Kakra, and with the party of Portugal, who said, they had the form of Bana from Popular Timber to Musuno, Museptica. I can't put it for the two clients who see Batali, and no more said, if I do extra touch, everyone put that and then by a station, and then say, you have to police for the other side of what say. Now, Bremen so Asante Montemuno, Environmental Protection Agency, one boss lawyer Henry Kwabena Pokofu, and so on the near Chahono, as a filling station via Wosi or Montemua. A cofa to a super green, but no, I want them who so one tears here. Sans Aviana, fuel station. Baby auto found we were makwai emo wodi shiva dache de asem ebeba na tama boss UPA boss owura kokofuko he no onso de nanu sem etudwa na otwini me kwa adwuma mu no me table so no complaints ho debre na ba ko adimu akotene na eha adwene ne obi a ode krata aba se ya filling station on na fichire na ade a etiamra na me ne me mpani so tenase a yedwen ho regional director na just I asem dada about 2015 kwa besi 2016 na yetene se yehwen krata mu no na National Petroleum Authority for amano krata a utimide ya adwuma EPA so krata ne sakan bi ana Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly sabre na swame enne ho na nya municipality also so man krata say utimi yes adwumadie no eye nia mra ne kire say 60 meters to school dan asori dan lorry park eno ne de mra makwan ye wo filling station bi ti say na osan wo gas station ka ho eno so mra no makwan kra ne mum say residential area de say meka yi kakra bi da ene tank ne ntemu a na enye gas station na ye petrol filling station eno de mraman kwan meno ka say oti ene esemu mantamu National House of Chiefs ahemfofo badwa watie esanse woye mantamu fufura abai edi aba no say aman kwa akoye hyehyɛ a wapa wo ntoma wankasa obesi dan ama wa obeye adwuma asɛ oman Ghana ene empatamu hofo ene onyam.
The government and the people of Ghana congratulate each and every one of you, Nanano, for your membership of the new OT Regional House of Chiefs. I am confident that you, the founding members, and this is the history, you are the founding members, and that nobody else can be the founding members after this. You would have been, and forever you will remain so. So I am confident that you, the founding members, will discharge your duties to the best of your ability. Nananum chiefs and traditional authority play very significant roles in our liberation effort. We can recall the contribution of very important chiefs who stood to protect our land and natural resources, who championed our rights and liberties, and were in the forefront in spearheading our social, economic, cultural, and political charge. Without the active involvement of our chiefs, perhaps the course of our economic and political roadmap would have taken a very different character. Like all institutions of state, at different periods of our history, some have wondered whether chieftaincy is still relevant to our development. But just as it has been in the past, chieftaincy will continue to be an indispensable part of our.
And we believe that many of our chiefs and people gathered here, they are equally good. It is really a dream come true. A dream our forebears and predecessors in cherished and passionately fought.
Say ya mumwe muna ya hwede e koso e wo machine asoye na e wo machine asoye no say JHS for ya e wo tire na no da ewie BC foi omompani obo baba so pa aka say wo ba tire exams no die nkofo bi susu ye say e bia enkrai ko tire kra COVID-19 e betie te say kumomo kokumomo fiefo o say amane sa na oda awurade ase. Let
me assure you again that as President of the Republic, I will do everything in my power to protect you and stop the importation of the virus into our country or limit and contain its spread. This is my solemn commitment to you. Fellow Ghanaians, on Friday, 18 September, 561,674 JHS3 students completed the Basic Education Certificate Examination BECE. SHS3 students also, on 5th September, wrote the last paper of the West Africa Senior Secondary Certificate Examination WACSE. I am particularly excited at this development, because despite the fears and genuine anxiety expressed by some, and the criticisms proffered by some in the political space, these students have gone to school, studied, sat, and completed their examinations unscathed. Their forward march in life has not been interrupted. And by the grace of God, the predictions made by some of widespread infections and even deaths did not materialize.
Na saso na say yedi yani echiremu a omompani pese o kire say awo JHS and SHS 2 for na so obeko school no university for bi kodada amompani for no bi so eguso wo ko school na say sisaya aban ya to ho amaso school for ya ko school no waye bi dada na yego fese je aban echirechiremu di aban guso
As has already been announced, relevant arrangements and logistical deployments are being made for the return to school of second-year, junior, and senior high school students. Continuing students in the University of Cape Coast, the University of Health and Allied Sciences, technical universities, and some other colleges have returned to school, and I've been reliably informed that adherence to protocols is high. Long may it continue.
Na yedi chemu ewe semu mantamu tuta for Technical University Tutors Association tuta we wasore se amanyofo hweye na wamfa ntutu ye ama mantamu ni nipa abusua eni egrofo bretam obeka se ethnic incitement no na ankofa basabasaya bia anya dai ama na wokra woti we kura no ohumwa bia abaye de boa wo.
Follows peace before, during, and after election 2020. TUTAG hereby joins all well-meaning Ghanaians to keep their commitments to the peaceful and violence-free electioneering process. All political parties are hereby enjoined to act in a manner that promotes peace. Let all political parties demonstrate issues-based campaign, devoid of incendiary language and any other thing that can break the peace of this country. Ghana is all we have, and it is surrounded by countries whose language we cannot speak. TUTAC will not support any political party that appears to divide us for cheap political gain. It is strange and indeed interesting to note that the very government that is committing heavy doses of resources into the development of the country's manpower needs is the same government that is impeding the efforts of technical universities in their quest to train manpower to feed the economy. Government, through the National Council for Tertiary Education and the National Accreditation Board, is doing all it can to frustrate the existence of technical universities by refusing to accredit all their programs. Programs that are competency-based and meant to produce the much-needed manpower.
Na say the ani bochire mu awo apomudi asoya awo apomudi mu no say no me no kasa me di kema wo ti asese aban kasa de etoso dunso na aban kasa ye mu no awo apomudi fo mu no o kire nipa anya covid-19 ni bi ehun pempenso efri say o kasa de etoso dunsia nipa anya bi ene wo a wanya bi sese no pempenso ya du no aban kire ye kotie asemi bi bra.
When I delivered update number 16, exactly 3 weeks ago, the number of recorded active cases, that is persons with the virus, stood at 1,847. This number, as of Friday, 18 September, has reduced considerably to 507 persons. There are currently some regions in the country without active cases. Greater Accra, Eastern, Ashanti, and Central regions account for some 80% of the active cases.
Sansuna mino kasai abai apa aya hospital empankwa aya apem du 10,000 apa wotuma a odi ama aya apomdi asoe no aya Ministry of Health no se wonhwe na wonche saa empai. Government's
determination to see an end to this no-bed syndrome has resulted in the decision to procure these hospital beds and their associated accessories for distribution across the country to augment the existing numbers in the country. In total, 1,500 pieces of critical care beds with overhead tables, 2,000 pieces of standard hospital beds with bedside lockers, 4,000 pieces of health center beds with bedside lockers, 1,000 pieces of children's cots, and 1,500 pieces of delivery beds have been purchased.
Na say yebonga mu awa jumasam eni sikasemu a no na komia ebisa omampani dada yetu na dwaso asese ofese ento abama no ndisi for yin se osi okada dwuma no eye na ebuo nipa die na ba na dwumu nti a utwa mu on kire Ghana.
He says he will restore Okada business. Well, I mean, all of us respect the hustle of our brothers in this Okada business, but it was President Mahama who banned Okada business in 2012. Now, he hasn't answered the question why he banned Okada. Now he says that he is going to lift the ban and regulate them. But it was precisely because you could not enforce the regulation, the wearing of helmets, the licensing of the bikes, the licensing of the drivers. How do you convince us this time that you'll be able to enforce the regulations? When you had power, you couldn't enforce the regulations. And then you banned them because you couldn't enforce the regulations. After banning them, even the ban tour, you couldn't enforce because they were still operating under our very eyes and under our very noses. So now when you come and say that you are going back to the regulation, we have to ask you the question, so why couldn't you enforce the regulations in 2012?
Asenkafo wakatipa ewa maemu kaswa emantamu ho especially wasam ena make yi kaswa mantamu ho ti tipa fo enchira na China fo a wabaga na ha se wo de abo ani anwea ton ahye wonsa no wo tutu ne buo mu rough enti ema emmo waduma no enti obekọ ho strike ana se enu nti ebema wo de wo fidie agufom enkochie se de wo kan se
na ne oye no se wa ma nani abre a masa ebe ha no bebi owo no because driver fo ebu amu fu China fo no se wa sore njina yeba Friday ebe kasaye se nde Monday ye de enda de obegu o ye ntihwe Monday no so aba ampa ye ntihwe driver sini nya parking se obi abehwe kwan so a obedi da se tipa bie no oso ahwea
esan se ye hwe yedwumedi a yedi ni wo man mu a yedwumedi a esom mo pa esan boa oman ni mpuntuo ye ntipafo edan bia ebesi ni Ghana man mu ha ekwan biara ye be ye wo Ghana ha no ye de tipa na ye company fo a efa abo age contract omo beba na China fo a eton abo atu abo nim na omo de abo no emma company fo no na yen tipa drivers ye wo mamu individuals aye bo ama o man punto no ye be kwa nne na o mato abo nim o kina na o masantum o muntumi mayen se ebia nne ekosi dase o mato abo nim na mu anopa wo be free ha a wo tu ka oni customer akasa de da wo tu awuka a ko fa abo ama no be ko na China ni si widen wato abo
na sabre de ni bo kiremu ewo anigisem anasa ahosepe ho ensemu a Larusso as I say you can't dance so artist for ya or can't hold my Ghana moon. Abrante say be a winning one with a yenty yumi emra said a bear bon kind pa.
Go secrets I talk say big Clarence. Try me then a violence for the set kill me could show them badness. Big men with the cruise wagon. See a man go the foot wagon. Big up the man them shook one done. Gidi abijado say killy
na abrante weina me no ka say wa bonnwum a oso okotwa video a ode be ye the promotion amankofo hu de waye na wo bra okọ set so say okotwa video no motor a ode koye okada ne bi ye kire mienu animu mienu no ha okada yi abo abrante ye mu ne semabu enkohwe se de ekọ so from the top From the top. They say yabamu ewo abukansie eho ensemu dia na se omampani wo ne kasa atoso du ensun mu no kire se contact sports se agudia yedidi ehoko obi no bo and the account se wo makwan se agudie eyebo no yetumi ebo eti ama teams ahodo no wa hye wa opeso ko training bia no akonya wo se ubetumi akọ.
Towards the progressive easing of restrictions, government has taken the decision to allow the resumption of training in all contact sports, taking into consideration the imminent participation of our national teams in international competitions. Indeed, some national teams have already been given the dispensation to begin training ahead of their international engagements. All sports people who are camped are to be tested regularly.
Na awon sem foforo mu nso no omampani echirechere mu se eye Premier League e mo oman mu a ne Division 1 league no enche awo se wo sha ase na ye hwese de o kan se.
After due consultations with the Ghana Football Association, it has been decided that the Ghana Premier League and the Division 1 Football League will restart on Friday, 30th October, with a full regime of testing of the players, technical and management staff. No spectators will be allowed at the training centers. And when actual competition resumes, seating at all stadia will be limited to 25% capacity to ensure social distancing. Wearing of masks by spectators at stadia will be mandatory.
Yo, adofo eni na eha ne ye de kasia mo so na otwe mu nsam ne de dɔɔso nanso de hu hia sɛ wo sɛ wote ho asɛm ɛno ɛna ye de ebrewo mesan ka wo sɛ dwumadie ɛnam New Fountain of Life Ministries International asafo so ɛna ama ye de abrewo aseda kasia pa nkɔma onda no ni Apostle Dr. Matthew Antwi ɛna afei ne ho kafo Mama Lydia Prophetess Antwi ɛwɔ dwumadie kasia mo ye magana fo ama won so ofa won ho adi esan ka wo se dwumadie mi amedi anim wo no di ho kyea me e de bre wo no the from Collins Ataba afantefo no de otwa ne tia se uncle ata so pese dwumadie yi won so obeka ho na dwumadie bi a wo die ye bo ho dawru ma wa ye wa komatrofo a enam TV yase ba bi a wo bi a wo di dwumadie bi na bibi na ekoso mpota mu a won tia se a fra yen ye beba na ye de ho nchiri waso nyina magana fo so ahudie ekoso koso na hwe AKTV enyame pa na wo tweda sene na me ka o se dwumadie cameraman Collins Opon Light Bismarck ye director David Okodia Sumani ana afi MCL manager na Ajanchi ana afi ye chief director na Osu Nadu manager Opani Kwesikurate na me enkama ho awo mo asonko a mo de bua dwumadie yi ibehia na wo tweda sene bye bye